Welcome to episode 2 of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. This episode is going to be a bit more structured than episode 1, thankfully. This week we have our league champion from last year, Andrew, joining us. Andrew, wave. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
We're going to go over draft day preparations, strategies. Well, maybe not so much strategies, but what do you do to get ready for a draft? Ben and I, we got a bet that we're going to go over this week. We're going to do draft day predictions just for round 1. And we'll talk about what we're going to actually bet on later. After that, we're going to transition to our league champion. We're going to talk about really the history of the league, how well he's done over the years. It's a fun one. And we'll give him an opportunity to talk a little bit, talk some crap to the league. We're going to talk about his keepers from last year, his big playmakers that really won it for him, and then we will finish up this evening with talking about last place punishments. So, yeah, so we're going to get started. So, Andy, league champion, how does it feel? How does it feel to finally win one?
It's kind of a relief, honestly. When you're in a league for 16 years and you never win first place, you get a little down on yourself, you know? A little disgruntled, a little upset.
A little salty?
But, a little salty. But I'm back. I'm revitalized, one might say.
Revitalized?
Football is fun again, I guess.
It just took you finally winning fantasy football.
Yeah, it did.
No, you definitely had a period there where, with the loss and everything, I really thought at one point you were going to hang it up. I really did.
It did cross my mind.
Oh, I know it crossed your mind. You and I have had talks. I'm glad you stuck it out. You've been one of the core. You've been in the league from the beginning.
From the beginning.
We started in 2006.
Yep.
I went back and checked the league history. So,
Oh gosh.
one of these episodes, we're actually going to go back to year 1 and break down teams. That was the year, Ben, if you remember, I had Marcus Colston as a tight end.
Oh my god, dude! Some of those early drafts are hilarious.
Oh, they were.
Mm-hmm.
Got
I remember
quarterbacks going first round. Like everybody picks quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I definitely like taking any Chief possible. It was tough. It was very tough.
We picked our favorite players.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I took Mark Bolger first round one year or something.
I remember the debates that I had, me always arguing about whether Steven Jackson was a good running back or not.
Mark Bolger, the unsung hero.
Oh,
he was no Tyler Thigpen, that's for sure.
Oh, no, I agree. I ain't a Chiefs fan, but Tyler Thigpen is still my boy.
Do you guys remember how many, back in 06, how many teams we had in 06?
8?
Do we have
10? Or that wasn't when we had 14,
I think it's
was
10.
it?
No,
it was 10. It was 2007. We went to 14.
Okay, I knew we had 14 somewhere in there.
Yeah, and that was just 1 year. And then after that, we actually went back down to 10.
Oh.
So we were at 10 for 2 more years after that. And then we've been at 12 teams since 2010.
I knew it'd been a long time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I'm already done talking about you, Andrew. You're league champion. I'm going to give you more opportunity here in a bit. I want to talk about draft day. We have our draft here. Well, this is Wednesday's 23rd. We're going to have draft on Saturday. Draft is going to involve a keeper draft starting at 10 a.m. Everybody's going to report in who they're going to keep. And then at 1 p.m., we'll start our in-person draft. So this is really an open discussion with both of you. What do you guys do every year to get ready for the draft? What is your ritual prior to draft day?
I sacrifice a couple goats. Take a dip in the Everglades. Honestly, I usually start doing mock drafts about 3 weeks before our draft.
Oh, so you start pretty early in August.
Yeah.
So the first week of August. Okay. How much do those mock drafts change from the beginning of August to about now?
I wouldn't say quite a bit, barring any big injuries. But the problem is now some of them changed because of, well, the whole running back debacle of 2023.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
something. Ben and I know whenever we do our list, it's going to be all over the place.
So
It's
running backs are ridiculous this year.
Yep.
So I like doing some of those. I also like to do some of the. I'm a sucker for DraftKings, so I also do some of those best ball drafts on DraftKings, which I think are kind of helpful too, honestly. And you can win
Yep.
money.
Yep.
I
I
know
do.
I know you're a big fan of DraftKings. Ben and I are going to be doing DraftKings lineups with this podcast thing. So uh, I don't think
Yep.
we completely mapped out how we're going to do that yet. We got some fun ideas. We'll probably keep doing the thing that we've been doing in years past with you, Andrew. But Ben and I, we might have our own little tiny side wager, or we might just pick matchups of the week that him and I both do, and do our own other additional bets, whether it's a water bet or something. We talked about hot food or the hot potato chip. I don't know. Ben and I, we're going to do a lot of
Oh
fun bets
God,
this year.
Yep.
you and the
So,
Benji, huh?
Let's get stupid, right?
What a better way to celebrate losing at football, even more.
it's entertainment value. So, Ben, what about you? What do you do?
I'm there with Andrew. I will do some mock drafts a couple weeks out. I do the best ball lineups just to try and get my head in the right frame. I listen to way too much, talk radio or podcasts about this stuff. Like, honestly, if I'm having a lunch break at work, I'm probably eating a sandwich and listening to, I don't know, maybe Matthew Berry or occasionally some Rich Eisen or Colin Coward, just talk radio. So I'll
Honestly,
do some of that.
that's one thing I don't do, honestly.
But I like to
Ye-
keep up with that because, they'll have headlines of the day, and that's a quick way to kind
Yeah.
of keep up with some of the things that have happened. But, you know, you can already tell this season's going to be a little bit different. Particularly because of all the fights that have been breaking out. So it might be we're in the middle of the draft and somebody gets injured in a fight in the middle of the draft this year. It could
Oh
happen.
God.
So I don't know. But other than
Man,
that, my rituals, sleeping in. I do not get up early whenever we have the draft. I will not get out of bed before 9 o'clock. Cannot do it.
I'll be up before 7 o'clock on Saturday. Got to get my boy over to my mother's, and then I'll eventually make my way over to Andrew's house. So, for me, man, I might just be unique. After football season's over, I sign out. I just check out of football. I'll check in from time to time just to see if there's any new news with the Eagles if I don't get notified for it. But when it gets to fantasy, I don't start till like less than a week to go to the draft. Um, and with me, I mean, we've been doing this for almost 20 years. We know how to draft. We have our own strategies that we go about it. We know the players in the league. And the trades, yeah, sure, we check back in during the NFL draft, so we kind of have an idea what's going on. But you can get up to speed pretty quick, and so much of it's a guessing game that, yeah, I just don't waste my energy on it.
True.
So it's usually this week. Like I actually did my first couple mock drafts last night, and with me with mock drafts, I only do the first 3, sometimes 4 rounds. That's it, and then I sign out because
You're one of those people.
Yeah, because after 3 or 4 rounds, it gets so unpredictable. And then at that point, you don't necessarily bank for who you're hoping to get. You start aiming and targeting for specific players that's within reasonable range at that round. Uh, to some people, it might seem like a stretch, but you might be like, you know what? I don't think he was going to come back. And I'm fine taking him here in this round because I think, yeah, he might be projected worse than these other players. But from my eyes, from stuff I've seen in years past, I think he's going to be better. And
See, I like going further into a mock draft because there's certain players that, because we're in a keeper draft, there's a lot of great keepers that you get mid rounds, late rounds. So there's certain ones that I always have an eye on, and I kind of want to figure out when is the time I should maybe like pull the string on getting that guy. Should I wait till the 11th round? Or is he going before that? Because people also have the same idea as me. So I was like, oh crap, maybe I should actually draft this guy in the 8th or ninth because other people have the same idea I got. So that's why I like staying a little later on when I'm doing those,
Yeah, I think so. That's a
especially
good
with since we
point.
do a keeper draft.
Mm-hmm.
We do keeper drafts. We keep just 2 players in the league. So those are valid points, Andrew. I will say too, our league is unique in such a way that, for the most part, we draft smarter than other leagues I've been in. Uh, I think, like, from year to year, our draft is one of the better drafts that I see, and just in terms of competitive nature. I've been in other leagues where I'm like this, like that baffles me. Like, why? Uh, but that's just sometimes nature of it. So yeah, I think for me, when it comes to those keepers, I'm looking at average draft value as to where they usually go, and then I will set a sweet spot. Like, at what point am I okay stretching for this player because I really, really want him? If he's going in the 12th round, am I okay triggering or pulling the trigger on a 9th round on him, or is it 10th round the sweet spot? And if he's there, awesome. If he's not, so be it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
all right. Uh, Anything else about draft day you guys want to talk about? Getting prepared.
You know, the one thing that I think I always try to keep track on is whenever we have draft day, it always seems like somebody has to show up with some form of food. So I like to try and judge based on what lunch they show up with. For a while there, Little Caesars was a favorite, you know? So
Oh yeah,
I'm interested to see what kind of makes an appearance in terms of foods. Whether people go the route of like, oh, I brought this for everybody, or my personal favorite, you're the guy that shows up with the Taco Bell and no one else gets any.
I don't think I have a food ritual on draft day. I think I'm always too busy. You guys see me just run around like crazy, getting everything ready and set up. So Rob is going to be at the
honestly,
draft this year, so it's going to make it easier. So
it's
Yep.
pizza. I don't know. Draft day's pizza day.
yeah, you and I should go in on a pizza for lunch, Andrew.
It's fine. I mean, Casey's right down the road.
I'm fine with it. So,
Fine,
all
I'll
right.
show up with my own Casey's and Taco Bell, and you guys can just suck it.
I was so waiting for you to say Little Caesars.
Hodgepodge of Taco Bell on Casey's pizza.
Fun fact, I've done that.
How drunk were you?
It was a dare in college. So
Oh, okay.
we got a Little Caesars pizza, then took a thing of Nachos Bel Grande and dumped that on top of the pizza. You had to eat all of it.
Was it
Yes.
amazing?
It was actually
At the
quite,
time, it probably
quite
was.
delicious. It was quite delicious. Looking back, you don't want to do that. Terrible
Oh,
idea.
okay, yeah, I agree. My gut ain't what it used to be.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move over to draft predictions. So this will be a segment with Ben and I predicting who's going to pick who in which slot. Pick 1, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, etc. And then we'll give Orschlin, who has the 12th round pick, or 12th pick in the first round, the opportunity to bet on who he thinks going to have more correct.
Before we start this, let's go ahead and ask Andrew, without knowing what we're going to do, who do you think is going to have the more accurate picks here?
I think I gotta go with Ben.
See, Andrew doesn't like to agree with me on anything when it comes to football, so he could rub it in my face because he hates it when I'm right, and he knows that statement is
We
true.
both hate. We hate when each other's right. Come on now, it's mutual.
It's a love-hate.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
it's like a special kind of bromance, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's fair. All right, let me share my screen here. Oh, all right. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, why are you looking
Yes.
at that? Oh. Well then.
Oh hey, whoa.
Oh, that's from a game Genshin Impact. This right here.
I've
Or
never
that?
heard of it.
That was that's Honkai Star Rail. Sorry, I nerd out.
Nerd.
All right. So, Ben, I got some names already right here. If I have to add a name, I can. There's 15 names. But we're going to start with you. Who do you think Cameron is going to pick?
You know, I actually have gone back and forth on this because I feel like I really do know that Cameron is stuck between one of two players.
Oh, it's
But I think that Cameron is going to kind of surprise us and go with a running back first in Christian McCaffrey.
oh, oh, Ben.
Yep.
You know that is also my prediction.
Oh, then I have to change it now.
No, you can't change it.
Nope, you gotta let me
So
change it. I want to be different than you on this.
you want to be different with me on the first one? Trust me. Whenever we start getting to pick 4, 5, 6, it's all
Nope.
gonna be.
Nope, I have to have the opposite now. Give me Justin Jefferson number one. Switching it up.
Okay.
Just because you.
Andrew, you still want to stick with Ben on your prediction? Or your initial prediction? You'll get a chance to pick after this is all said and done.
Yeah.
All right. yeah. All right. Well, for pick 2, I believe it will be Jefferson. And I would imagine you're going to say McCaffrey. It is Taylor.
Yeah, it is Taylor. So normally I would say, let's look down the list a bit. I'm going to throw it out there again. Maybe he's thinking about Sam Howell from Washington. But I think Taylor picks Christian McCaffrey here.
Okay.
Because obviously Cameron's going to take Justin Jefferson. Just because Cameron does have the Vikings hat. There you go. That helps the case.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he does. He's got the throwback.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I'm going to go drop some hints to Cameron tomorrow, by the way.
It's your pick again here, Ben.
All right.
What do you think Josh is going to pick? Well, first, so he can keep Chase in the 3rd round, I think.
Yeah,
Do we both believe he's going to keep him there? I mean, there's no reason why wouldn't.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, Little Josh is definitely going to keep Jamar Chase because it's a steal. You're getting a first rounder in, I think,
For
the
a
3rd or 4th.
third-round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that's a no-brainer there. But I know how Little Josh's brain works. And I can say with 99% accuracy.
I tell you what, let me guess first
Okay.
here on this one. Because I have not talked with him, but I have a feeling I know what he's going to do. I think he's going to lock this up. I think he's going to get his running back right there.
Wrong. So
Okay,
you think it's Austin Eckler? I can tell you 99% certainty right now. Little Josh is going to pull the trigger on Bijan Robinson.
I could see him doing that too.
I'm Little Josh likes those little kind of sneaky things, and if there's one thing Little Josh does really well, it's always draft wide receivers, which means he knows he can find that value. He will look for that top tier running back that can help out his game as much as possible right here in the first round. So running back is definitely the way he goes.
Mitch, you think he's going Eckler, right?
I think he's going Eckler, and I just think that's a safer pick with 3rd overall.
I think it's the safer pick. I agree.
It's a safer pick.
Picking a rookie number 3 overall.
Yep.
I don't know, but anyways, all right.
It's definitely a little bit of a gamble for Josh there. So at 4 we have Steve, and I actually think that Steve, with Eckler on the board here, probably does pull the trigger on Eckler.
You think he's going to take Eckler here? All right.
Yep. Again, when we're looking at this breakdown, it's you want running backs, and there's going to be a little bit of a run on it, the high value guys first. But I think that before the end of the draft, we'll see a big switch in that.
Yeah. So right here, this is where I'm going to break away. I don't think Steve's going to go running back here, and that's also assuming that Eckler's gone. But if that doesn't happen, then he might take Eckler. I think he is going to take, who do I have? He's going to go with his boy that he's obsessed with. I think he's going to take Kupp.
I actually have Kupp as the other option for him here. So I really do think it's one of those two picks. It's Kupp or Eckler.
I don't think Steve will jump on Robinson. Robinson will be there. In my mind, Robinson would have been there if Josh does not take him. But if Eckler falls to Steve, then I would guess Eckler that he would take Eckler. But in my prediction here, I already have Little Josh taking Eckler. So, all right, let's see. My pick, Ryan and Mark at number 5. I thought this was a no-brainer. I think they're going to do it. They're both Chiefs fans.
Yep.
I think they're going to take Kelsey.
Yep.
Is that
I
who you got?
almost. That's who I've got. I don't like it, but yeah.
All right, Ben. This is your pick. Now, this might be. You could lie. It's not going to matter to me. I'm already all the way out here at 10. You know, this gets more and more unpredictable the further this gets down. So,
It's true, and I will say that some of the
this is
people who have gone off the board at this point are exactly who I would like to be taking at 6. So I hate this 6 pick more than anything. It is my least favorite spot in the draft. That being said, when I'm looking at my board, I would probably say I'm going to probably reach up on running back, and I will probably take Nick Chubb here.
you're going to take Nick Chubb, huh?
Yep.
You want to know who I had picked for you?
Nick Chubb.
You better believe it.
Yep.
That's
I
who
also had
that's
Nick
who I
Chubb.
had. I figured you'd take Nick Chubb as well, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at AJ. So this is where, because AJ has done this, if I recall correctly. This is where I think Robinson would go. But if you're so confident here, then I will likely get that wrong, and this will probably be a domino effect. Everything will probably just bump. But I have AJ taking Robinson at pick 7.
I actually have AJ taking Cooper Cup because he's still on the board at this point. I don't
Yep.
know that AJ can turn down that value at 7.
You know, looking at this, I think we have the exact same players off the board now.
We do.
All right, so we're at pick 8. Good old Clark.
Yeah, I actually think Clark is going to probably pull the trigger on a wide receiver here. And looking at who's available, I think Stephon Diggs is who he goes with here.
You know, I was thinking about that. I think he's going to
He's
go
having-
with
He's having some problems with Buffalo though right now.
there's stories that he's wanting out.
Yep.
But if he plays, he's going to light it up.
I mean, no matter where he goes, he's gonna be good. But
But I think Clark is going to pick a big name player. Whether they play big game or not, I don't know. So for this, I have Clark taking Barkley.
That's who I had up next.
So, and then for the 9th pick, I have Drew taking CD Lamb.
Yeah, I actually have Drew taking Saquon Barkley here, just because, again, it's somebody who value who's sitting there. But
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb is the other name I had circled in for here, so we seem to have a lot of similar ideas.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're just flipped around a little bit. I'll be curious if we all have the exact same. Well, I think you and I both have the same last pick.
Yeah, I think
because we haven't said Hill yet.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
For you and Rob, I've actually decided to give you two Derrick Henry.
Whenever this gets to us, I hope there's changes here. Not saying that if this plays out exactly like this, I'm not going to lie, I will probably be taking Henry. Or Rob and I
See?
will. I don't like it. But they're at that pick. That's not a bad pick.
No, it's not.
It's just... All right. Now we're to Mike. I think Mike, he's going to take Tony Pollard. I think he's also going to go running back.
I actually have Mikey B taking Amon-Ra St. Brown.
St. Brown, okay.
Yep. Because when I'm looking at that position right there, I think he's going to make that next leap to where he's being one of those dominant receivers.
So he's on
So,
Detroit, right?
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's just if he goes there, like I don't know. I like maybe you're right there. I won't say anything. I don't know. Detroit's one of those teams that I'm not a fan of
Well,
picking.
well, again, it's like we've said. There's a couple ideas of who goes there, but at that point, I think Mike is basically staring down the barrel with how this plays out of either CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or maybe Tony Pollard. But I think it's one of those three is who he goes there. And I think
Gotcha.
his little app tells him to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Little app.
Yep. Be a man, Mike. Make your own decisions.
Nah, he would. He would take Tyreek Hill there.
He would, but here's what. Let's
If
go ahead
you
and say
don't-
this. We think Andrew, both of us are under the premise that Andrew is going to use a keeper on Tyreek Hill with the 12th pick because he gets to keep him at 12, where he normally would be going, I want to say 6.
I top 5, top 6. Hill will not make it to Mike if he is there.
You're right.
So
This is the part where Andrew could tell us that we're both wrong, and he's not going to keep Hill.
I could.
All
Maybe I'll bring that up later.
Actually, we've probably just changed Andrew's entire draft plans because we just played out this. And he's like, oh, so that's what's going to happen.
I'm not gonna lie.
he knows we're better than him, Ben.
It has. I have thought that has maybe changed my perspective a little bit.
So, and these are just predictions. I mean, who's to say this is what comes to light? So, it'll be interesting to see what this will actually be whenever we come back and review this, Ben.
Well, I think the other thing that's really interesting, especially if we look at your list down here, you'll notice that at the very bottom of your list is listed Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Jonathan Taylor is clearly a first-round pick if we knew the situation in Indianapolis because he's demanded a trade now. They finally said he's allowed to go seek it. So we don't know where he's going to be or if he's going to be playing for the Colts. I mean, the team that needs him the most in the NFL is the Colts. But I don't know how that plays out because, they're having that issue of what to do with his contract. And if he doesn't seem very happy there. So there's a couple teams that should definitely be looking at
He's going to be an
potential
interesting one.
trades.
He's going to be an interesting one to see where he gets drafted because I've seen him go all over the place in mocks just because nobody knows where he's going to end up. And you can get him pretty late or late for his talent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get him and he stays with the Colts, or no matter where he goes, I mean, that's a heck of a pick. I mean, if you get him third round or whatever, but it's but what happens if he gets stuck? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that it would, let's say we get the news of where Jonathan Taylor's going to be the day of the draft, that immediately changes this first round. If we find out he's been traded somewhere, that could potentially bump him all the way back up into talks of 5 or 6. So it's a huge if.
So I'm going to give you guys a hot take right here. He's not getting traded.
I don't think so.
Because I don't think the Colts are going to ask for too much. They're probably like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Well, they already said they want a first rounder for him, and I don't know what else, but
they pretty much want a Christian McCaffrey deal like we saw with the 49ers and the Panthers last year. And he's clearly talented, but the other
he's
side...
He's coming off an injury, too.
Yep. And the other side of that coin, too, is when you look at these things, he wants a new contract extension or deal.
Yeah.
So whoever would trade for him has to take him on knowing that they have to basically lock that up as soon as that trade is finished. Yeah. So who wants to pay him? That's the name of the game.
Yeah. So, but I don't think he gets traded. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
So, all right, Andrew, we're gonna end with this here. Between those Ben's predictions and my predictions, do you want to go in on this bet?
Yeah.
All right. Who are you predicting is going to be more right? Each pick that's right is 1 point.
I'm still sticking Ben's.
Gonna stick with Ben's. All right. You heard
Yep.
it. So if we watch this after the draft, I mean, we'll know before he gets to this point who's going to win.
Yeah,
And
by the 12th pick, one of us is going to be laughing at the other in the draft. Like, no
And
one
you both
else is
everybody's
got
going
going
to
to
be
know.
wondering why.
You both got me sticking with Hill in the 12th, so
Yep.
Oh, Andrew could wreck this whole thing because if he doesn't keep Hill, this is all over the place.
Yep. It's true.
well,
But
It definitely puts an interesting spin on it. I will give him that. Andrew has the power to kind of change this entire draft.
well, I think what Andrew's doing because we haven't posted episode 1 yet. We said you're going to mess up at the first pick,
Yep.
no matter what.
I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna mess up at 12.
Yep.
So, but I think we gave you a way out.
Yep. Well, to be fair,
We both just agree
at this
what
point,
we should do.
at this point, we could argue that by not taking Tyreek Hill, we will both agree you are messing up your first pick.
You can.
Well,
Pressure's on you.
I don't know, boys.
You do you.
I could. Yeah, I am gonna do me.
So.
Oh boy.
All right. So Andrew is going to bet on Ben's prediction. We won't figure this out right now, but we'll sidebar a discussion as to exactly what we're going to bet for draft day, as to what we have to drink, either possibly even during the draft, if we so choose. It probably do it after. But all right, I want to transition back to our league champion, and we're gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna go over the league history with Andrew. So let me stop sharing my screen here. 1 second. Here we go.
Ooh, I
All
look
right.
good.
So going back league history, this is going back to 2006. Andrew, there's actually 1 year that you used a different sign in. I had to go to my history.
I had a
go to
different
that
sign
league.
in.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I got it figured out. So last year you took first. First time you took first in the whole year, whole shebang.
Yep.
So your DraftKings ability with drafting is way better than your normal fantasy football stuff.
Probably.
And the next 3 years, 2021 you took 10th place. 2020 you took 11th.
That was a rough one. Yeah.
2019 you took 12th. You had a last place that year. So past 3 years you've gotten better one by one, and then you just jumped from 10 to 1.
Yeah. That year I got 10th was.
That was
Anyway.
a dark year.
That was a dark year because I had a good team. And I got 10th.
So 2018 you took 8th. 2017 you took 4th. That was the last time since last year that you were in the playoffs.
Woo.
2016 you took 5th. At this point we were not. That was consolation bracket because it was 2019 we started the 16 playoff.
Yep.
Hey, 2 years in a row, man. 5th and 4th. Whoa.
2015, sorry, you took 7th. 2014 you took 3rd.
Hot
So
damn.
you made the playoffs.
Look at that one.
2013 you took 7th. 2012 you took 6th.
Middleman.
2011 you took 10th. This was out of 12 teams. 2010 you took 12th.
Yeah, I knew I had another one in there somewhere.
2009 this was a 10-man league. You took 7th. 2008 you took 10th out of 10 teams.
Oh, I had another last. I got 3 last placers. Look at me.
2007 you took 7th out of 14 teams.
Hey, there we go. 50%.
And 2006 you took 3rd out of 10 teams.
Hey!
So just quick breakdown, just for on the record. You have had one championship. You made the championship bracket only 4 times, and last place 3 times.
Such is fantasy football
Yep.
for your boy.
But it's hey, if you could win it, anybody can win it.
Thank you.
Well, it's true. Mitch has won it, so anybody
true.
could win.
That is true.
So Andrew, looking at your team from last year too, your two big players that really did it for you was Hill and McCaffrey. Now I can't remember. McCaffrey never really got hurt last year, did he?
No, I think he
No.
missed. He missed 1 or 2
He
at the
missed,
most.
a couple because Eli Mitchell went in for him.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he rolled an ankle or something, I think,
Yep.
one time. I don't remember, but
And then last year, your keepers, you had, what was it, James Conner and Marquise Brown?
Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown did not work out.
He was on your ending roster, though, wasn't he? Didn't you keep him all year?
Yeah, I kept him all year, but Marquise Brown got hurt. James Conner was so because honestly, Conner missed quite a few games last year too.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but no, last year, Andrew, I mean, you did it. I mean, the playoffs ended the way that they did, but I'll say on record, I mean, you won. Whether people they want to put an asterisk next to it, they give you a hard time. It's just name of the game. I think we handled the playoffs right, and I'll go ahead and mention real quick. So last year we had the DeMar Hamlin injury. Andrew and I were playing for championship, and that game never finished. And it was 3 or 4 players left to play. No, it was 4. I had Allen, Diggs. I think I had a Cincinnati player. Maybe, or I had a kicker.
Yeah, you think you
That's
had
my kicker.
McPherson.
So
McPherson.
I had 3. I had Allen, Diggs, and the kicker from Cincinnati.
And I had T. Higgins.
You had T. Higgins.
And you had T. Higgins. But yeah, that game never finished, and I've always said too, we dealt with this with COVID, that we'll always defer to whatever the league kind of does, like Yahoo by default. And I'm going to stick by that decision that we did the right thing on how we ended that. So, Andrew, from the person you beat, it was a fair win for you. It might
Thank
not have
you.
been how we wanted it to end, but
I mean, nobody wanted to end that way, but
the belt is yours. Obviously, now just don't talk to me about it, and we'll be okay. But no, I'm happy you finally got your first win, especially after reading that history of you. I mean, you needed it more than I did. So
yeah. And the problem with a lot of those teams, like, I mean, obviously there were some years I just did bad, but some of those finishes, like the one a couple of years ago, I think I got 10th. I think I had 4th or 5th most points in the league that year, and I almost got last place.
Yep.
And I had that happen multiple times throughout fantasy football, where I'd be in the top 5 of scoring, but I'd be vying for almost last place. And that's when fantasy football gets a little rough.
That's one of those things I've always looked at, because it's perspective, right? It's like I did what I could. It's just when I happened to play against people, they just played out of their mind.
I mean, fantasy football, you can. I mean, it's their strategy, but I feel like fantasy football there's a lot more luck involved than there is strategy. But so you got to kind of just roll with the punches, I guess. But
in 2008, when you took 10th place, you had the 3rd most points in the league.
Nice. There we are, baby.
So it happens. I mean, you guys remember the 2 years I went back-to-back last place?
I remember one of those years you had a good team.
The first time I took 12th place, that was rough. I had like the 6th most points in the league. Everybody was playing out of their mind against me. Like it was highway robbery. Like it wasn't fair. I didn't have a chance. Like we'd get an hour into the game on Sunday, and it was just over already. And it's like, okay. But then the following year, I did not draft well. I think that was the year I drafted and thought very highly of Nick Foles. That was on his first stint with the Philadelphia Eagles, and well, it
Third
backfired.
best quarterback in the league.
That's
I think
right.
I remember a guy
Sixth.
saying that. I was sixth best quarterback in the league.
That's
Sorry.
right.
In your heart, you meant third.
Oh, in my heart, he's number one, always and forever.
Super Bowl champ.
Super Bowl champ.
Oh yes.
All right. I want to transition to our last topic. So, generally, all these podcasts, we're hoping to aim for around 30 minutes. We're already 40 minutes deep into this, so we'll try to keep.
Good
this
idea, because my phone's hanging on by a thread, boys.
Okay. Well, we will talk about last place punishments real quick. So first, I'm going to start with you, Ben, because I asked you what topic would you like to bring up this week, and you brought up last place punishments. Now, this might be fresh in your mind because,
Yep.
well, you're working on last place presentation, so let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, I've had to do this once before, and oh no, is that once or twice now? I know
Since we
started the league reset.
The punishment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So last time I did this, I did a Star Wars video, like the rolling credits. So obviously that idea has been taken. I can't do that again. That's too cheap. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. I may be doing something using some, let's just say, some newfound abilities with work to see if maybe I can do something there that I normally would not have access to. So we'll see on some of that. Trying to figure that out. But, the funny thing is that we've got all three of us here, and each one of us has had to do a presentation. Because Andrew, you had that one year you had to do it, and I believe it was a redo on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Is that right?
It was a redo of the Fresh Prince Bel-Air rap.
Yeah. And then, like, you've got Mitch here who's had to do it twice, and I believe Mitch has had some pretty funny videos that he's dubbed that we've enjoyed pretty immensely. So I believe that Mitch was the first one who actually had to do the first presentation.
Yep, he was the first.
So
Might be the first. Were you the first two?
Well, so I was probably the first two, and then I also did another one where I just like wrecked the whole league. And that was just a video from the commissioner whenever I made fun of everybody. Yep. So I technically I've done 3 videos, but 2 of them for last place.
So yeah, we've all got some experience here doing this. I don't know that it's a thing that any of us are actually proud of, but we always have a little bit of fun doing these things. And just to kind of get some ideas, I went and looked around to see what other leagues are posting on the internet of what they've done as punishments. And there's been some really creative things. I really enjoyed one of the ideas, which is if you finish last place in your league, you're not allowed to cut your hair until the next draft.
Oh my God.
So some people could really get some scraggly looking beards in hair.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That would be
not,
bad.
Not cut your hair, or can you mess with a beard?
Yeah, like that's another one, is that they had to let members shave them, so they could like say Mitch maybe do a Fu Manchu.
Oh God, the hair thing would be a problem for me.
Yeah, I don't know if we all recall here, but we may have some issues with fellow members having some strong feelings about people getting close to them with a razor. Looking at you, Steve.
Oh.
So, for anybody who's watching and doesn't know the story, Steve once was the victim of a prank which involved shaving off his eyebrow. And the only answer to do after that was to shave off the other one.
He looked like a thing.
His party for his 21st birthday was a real banger.
Yep.
It was. Great memories. Never forget.
No, never forget.
That being said, I will not condone that particular prank as a good punishment. I think we should all keep our eyebrows where they are. That's probably a safe bet. But we've done some other things, like we love doing March Madness too, and So one of the deals we have there is loser has to do a food challenge. Andrew and I were the victims of that. This was that last year, Andrew.
Oh,
Last year.
this is past year. Well,
Last
the
year.
loser has to do it, and then the winner gets to pick somebody to join the
Yep.
loser.
So Andrew and I got to do it,
And
and
I got picked by eyebrow guy.
yeah, and we took on pizza roll challenge. I believe Andrew and
Uh-oh.
I both ate 83 and 82, wasn't it? Yeah. So
Yeah, I made you. I think you had 87, and I had 85 or
it's
something.
something like that. Like it is only one different, but we both got up there to somewhere in the 80s. And I can go ahead and I won't speak for Andrew, but I have not eaten a pizza roll since. I can't do it. I
I'm
can't
not
do
gonna
it.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. I ate pizza rolls literally 4 days later because I had leftovers.
No, I get
food.
I get sick to the stomach thinking about
I was
it.
hungry. Stick them in the air fryer, man.
Andrew, I think for draft day you need to have pizza rolls.
Hey, I mean, I'm down for some pizza rolls. 85.
So that's some of the fun punishments that I've seen around. But I will say that there is. I definitely am having a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out what to do for it this year. There is some pressure to try and deliver when we do these things, but I also have been sitting here questioning whether there's options or revisions that we should be doing to those rules because one of the things that I did see was that people, instead of a punishment, the punishment is adding money to the rolling pot. So I may suggest that one of the options be you can do the presentation, or the league can set a fine amount to go into the rolling pot. So that value of the pot is a little bit bigger each time.
I think that's great. I think that's a great idea. If
I,
because we were kind of in a situation like that right now, and I think a fine is a pretty good way out of it. I guess you got to make sure it's worth it, though. I mean, you can't just make it like $5 or something.
Right,
no,
right.
I think that's definitely something worth discussing because I get to either things come up or you don't want to mess with it, or you're too embarrassed, which it's embarrassing enough in itself if you're not up to doing it. Um,
Well, and not to forget, Mitch,
so
we,
I
we
think
we do doubly punish the person who finishes last place. There is two penalties to that, and that is that
That is
whoever
true.
wins consolation gets to change the name of the team that finishes last place. So, really, I have to say that it seems like we are punishing a person twice for the same crime, which I will go ahead and tell you, when we apply that to our court system, is a completely invalid and illegal maneuver. So the American justice system says you cannot be tried for the same crime twice.
Yeah, well, this fantasy football is different. It's different.
Oh
different rules
no.
apply.
I think this is one of those things where it may have to be addressed. There could be legal ramifications if it's not.
So one of the things I'll say, Ben, I think that's a very uh, clever, smart way to address this issue. I do think it's something that we should bring up to the league. Um, the dollar amount for it to go towards the rolling pot, we'd have to decide on because, like what Andrew said, it can't just be $5 or $10. That's too easy.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, getting last place, yeah, it needs to. You don't want to get last place because that's almost part of the
Exactly.
fun come playoffs. You don't want to be in the bottom four because then you're like, oh, geez, I'm in the mix. It could be me, and there's a thrill in that for everybody else because they get to watch it. They get to watch it unfold. So there's a lot of entertainment value in having that, and
Right.
depending on what that dollar amount, we can lose some of that entertainment value because there'll be some people they'll just be like, oh, I'll pay it out, and then that will immediately lose entertainment value if people know that going into the playoffs. So I think it's a discussion worth having. I think we should always look to make things better in the league. We can always make improvements and things change. So we want to evolve and do that. But I think those are good ideas. So Andrew, you have any ideas with what we should do, or do you love what we're doing now?
I mean, I love it. I mean, I think you should have to do a punishment. But the thing is, I don't know. You don't want to kick somebody out of a league, but at the same time, like it's just part of getting last place. I think it needs to be done. I mean, everybody else has done it, so
Yep.
if
Is
you've
there,
agreed to the league, you've agreed to the terms and conditions.
I would agree with that. Is there anything you would want to do different for punishment? Because this is where I've had my fun ideas, but it's probably starts getting on the more extreme, hilarious scale. But I got some fun ideas, and I've thrown them out there, and I'll mention them here in a bit. But do you have any other ideas of what we can do for last place?
Not really. I mean, we've just been doing like a presentation or a fun little thing, or I mean, I don't know. You could always have all kinds of. It's just that people got to agree upon it.
Yep. Well, and we've done all these various punishments, and you know that it can be hard getting these things set up because when we do those food challenges, that in
Yeah,
itself is
you got
also a struggle figuring out that timing and what to do. So, with every single punishment that we may discuss, I think it needs to be open for discussion on all of it. Just because maybe your presentation that you choose to do is, being a Mitch and having to go eat the hottest wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, and then touching your eyes.
I mean, I think that's up for discussion. Like that would be a form of punishment. Doing a food eating challenge, you'd have to record it. I
Yep.
think. I honestly, if somebody were to come to me on to do that, you'll be like, you know what? I think I'm fine with that. Let me see if majority of the league is okay with that. Because that would just be comical. Because we want it to be funny. We want entertainment. I think
you want
whatever
yeah,
kind
it's
of
about
presentation.
entertainment factor. It's got to be a punishment in some way. But yeah, it's an entertainment thing, really.
Well,
So,
don't. And
Because like
I'll
last place is like it's a pun. Like you still don't want to get last place, so you got to make sure that like that's in place. Like the whole like okay, no matter what, I don't want to get last place. So
yeah.
so it's still got to
well,
be a punishment to that sense.
we could always go back to talking about whether to do slap bets because that's always a good one.
We might make some of those bets during this podcast series, Ben. So I actually had a thought while we were discussing this. This goes back to what you said, Ben. We do double punishments in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Something that might be a good idea. I'm just throwing this out there. In the event, because entertainment value does come from naming the last place team.
Mm-hmm.
It might be that there's a fine, and then the seventh place person gets to name your team. But the thing I would want to figure out is I still want there to be some incentive to win the consolation bracket because we took away all money incentive.
I'm
'Cause
just
it's
going to tell you, boys, my phone's not going to last much longer.
well, we're about done. We're about done.
I mean, I could try to sign up on my computer if you want me to, but
No, we're good.
it's we're about done, and you can plug that up to the charger and just do regular mic. So the only thing that I would want to do that I think would be funny, instead of doing a presentation video, I think it'd be hilarious if whoever got last place had to go take the ACT test, and then we went and picked them up in a party bus and went on a party weekend.
I mean that is really funny. I mean that is pretty great. I'm not going to lie.
Oh my god, it would be so awful if you lost.
Could you imagine like Steve having to go take the ACT test, or and then becomes its own competition, like who scores the best?
Oh Lord, I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably study for it.
I wouldn't. It's so
I don't want to get lower than other people.
well, you just don't have to get last. So
Well, that's true.
all right. I think that's it for this episode. So thank you for joining us. If you made it this long through these hooligans, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. And we hope to see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.